Ready or not, here it comes. Tennessee football plays tomorrow for the first time this season. Your complete Tennessee-Virginia preview happening right now on your Friday Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Saying ready or not, hell, we've been ready for the last 9 months. The offseason is over. Tennessee plays football tomorrow. Can you freaking believe it? Football season is here. There were games last night. There's games tonight. And Tennessee gets going tomorrow. And, of course, you can find all the coverage and the best reaction, analysis, all that good stuff right here on Locked On Vols every single weekday morning when you wake up. I'm your host, Eric Cain. Appreciate you every day for making Locked On Vols your first listen. We're going to have a fun one here today. Virginia preview in segment 1. I've been talking about Virginia, but we haven't given you a full preview, personnel, all that type of stuff. That's in segment number 1. Cain or keys? My keys of the game in segment number 2. And the best from Josh Heupel in his Thursday press conference. That is coming up in segment 3. This episode is brought to you in part by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Okay, those Virginia Cavaliers. All right, you ready for it? Game's in Nashville. And, real quick, those, living under a rock, new to the program, maybe forgot. Tennessee's playing this game against Virginia in a neutral site game because Tennessee was supposed to open the season at BYU. Tennessee was supposed to open the season, the 2023 campaign in Provo, and I'm still upset that I'm not going there. I'm still upset that I'm not watching football with the beautiful backdrop of a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous sunset. I always wanted to go to that. I really did. But they both sides pulled out of that game. And quite frankly, Tennessee can make a lot more money, okay? Playing this game in Nashville and got it done. And so, of course, this is old news. But that's why this is a neutral site game. And it's coming down Saturday, noon Eastern, 11 a.m. local time. The game will be televised on ABC. Tony Elliot, second year head coach for the Cavaliers. If you remember, Tony Elliott, one of the finalists, one of the very close people to taking the Tennessee job, if you will, prior to Josh Heupel. Danny White's, making no friends on X, on Twitter earlier this month. Tony Elliott was doing a media engagement, kind of spoke on how close he was to taking the Tennessee job, and Danny White, Tennessee athletics director, was like, "Hold up. You've said this before, and I let it slide. I'm not going to let it slide again. I never gave you an offer." Yeah, there's some truth to that, of course. He never issued a formal offer, but you only give one of those, and that's to the guy you're going to hire, right? So anyway, there's a little spice added to this game at the beginning here from Tennessee Athletic Director Danny White, but that's Tony Elliott. His second year disaster ended Virginia's season last year, fatally 3 player shots killed. It was super, super sad. And, last 2 games of the regular season were canceled because of that tragedy. This will be the first game since. There'll be a moment of silence pregame. Tennessee's going to wear the decals of the fallen players, all 3 of them, on their helmets for this game, so that'll be neat. Just good to see Virginia playing football again. It really is. Having said that, Virginia I don't think is going to be very good. 3-7 last year, 17.6 points per game offensively. That was last in the ACC. 344 yards of total offense on average. That was 10th in the ACC. 32% on third downs. Just not very good. Quarterback Brennan Armstrong, a 3-year starter for Virginia. He transferred to NC State. Who's the starting quarterback for Virginia this season? Well, enter Tony Muskett, FCS Monmouth. All right, he threw for 1,997 yards a season ago, 17 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He is not mobile. He is not a mobile guy. He's a pocket passer. Decent stats, not great, but decent. And so he's going to be the starting quarterback for Virginia for the 2023 season. Now, Brendan Armstrong was not good last year, but he was a little bit dynamic. He led Virginia with 611 rushing yards. He threw for 2,210 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. So he was not great, but he was a little bit dynamic. But it's the Tony Muskett show now, new quarterback. Now, the running back is going to be by committee. You return your top 3 rushers. You add Kobe Pace from Clemson. Not a very good running attack, only 3.7 yards per carry a season ago. Paris Jones is going to lead that way. He had 365 yards in 2022. But we'll see exactly kind of who gets the hot hand and stays in there for Virginia. At the wide receiver position, you lost your top 4 wideouts from a season ago. Malachi Fields, who missed most of the 2022 season, he is back. Again, he missed most with injury. But in the last game Virginia played, he actually showed out. 5 receptions, 58 yards, and a touchdown against Pittsburgh in that game. So he'll be kind of our wide receiver 1. A couple other guys. But the name you're going to want to pay attention to is Northwestern transfer Malik Washington. He's going to play the slot. In Big Ten competition the season ago, 65 receptions, 694 yards. Again, that's in conference play only. So Malik Washington, the transfer, is going to play the slot. That's who you need to be paying attention to in the passing game. And the rest of that offensive line, you look at the rest of the offense, you look at that offensive line, it lost 4 starters from a season ago. It was a unit that gave up 3.4 sacks per game. And again, blocked for an average of 3.7 yards per carry. So it was not a good offensive line. Plenty of turnovers. There's been some camp injuries there as well. New offensive line coach. So any way you want to spin it, the offense was bad last year. It's got a whole lot of new personnel this year and a new quarterback. So a lot of unknowns, a lot of questions for Virginia offensively. We shift gears to defense. That's a little bit of a different story. Very multiple, 4.25 base, and in 2022, 371 yards of total offense average or total defense was their average. That was 7th in the ACC. 24 points per game. That was 7th in the ACC. Gave up 204 yards through the air. Gave up 153 yards on the ground. So again, nothing was superb, but it was all pretty decent, if you will, middle of the road in the ACC. The front 7 returns every starter except one. Now that one's a big loss. Leading tackler Nick Jackson, he had 104 tackles a season ago at linebacker. That is a huge loss, but all the others in the front 7 returned, so a very good front 7 should create some good challenges for Tennessee's offensive line. Led by defensive end Chico Bennett. He had 7 sacks a season ago, but he is likely not to play in this football game. He has been dealing with some injuries during camp, but Cam Butler's another guy. He had 4 sacks off the edge. Ben Smiley's a guy that's going to see a whole lot of run. He had 2 sacks last year off the edge. Those are kind of the guys who'll get after it from the Leo or defensive end positions. The interior, Jameer Greer had a couple of sacks, but Aaron Fumawi, 8.5 tackles for loss and 4 sacks. He's a really good presence in the interior. So we're talking guard, center, guard. Spraggins are good at. Ollie Lane at center, and then Andre Carrick or Jackson Lampley or Addison Nichols or whoever, that rotation is. It'll be Andre Carrick to start things out. It's going to be a really good challenge, that front 7 for, against Tennessee's offensive line. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Now, is this Florida? Is this Bama? Is this Kentucky? Is this Georgia? No, it's not. But it is a pretty decent challenge and more work you're going to get than playing Austin Peay next week. So I'm looking forward to that. Linebackers, of course, you missed Nick Jackson, who was a leading tackler a season ago, but you bring back James Jackson, who was 3rd on the team with tackles, Josh Aaron, who was 4th on the team in tackles. You bring back your 2 safeties. You bring back your starting nickelback, but you're trying to replace 2 all-conference cornerbacks, and Anthony Jackson, who had 2 interceptions a season ago, and Fintrell Cypress II. Went to the transfer portal to attack that cornerback position, and Clemson transfer Malcolm Green, SMU transfer Sam Westphal. So offensive line got some transfers. Cornerback got some transfers. Overall, I think this is going to be a better defense. The front 7 is much better. Offensively, a whole lot of questions, but Tennessee should win this game by multiple scores. I'll get into some scores and some bowl predictions coming up in segment number 2, along with some more Cain or keys to the game. But hey, that is what you need to look forward to from Virginia. That's a look at the personnel that we know of so far. And, of course, we'll continue to break it all down in the next 2 segments prior to Tennessee and Virginia right here on Locked on Vols. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Gametime. Buying tickets to your favorite event shouldn't be stressful. Gametime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped up for all the fun that you're going to have. Over at Gametime, they've got flash deals with last-minute tickets if you download that app. Easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area, not just the sporting events, but for music, theater, concerts, all that type of stuff. They've got it at Gametime.com and on the Gametime app. They will show you images of the seats before you purchase, plus they guarantee lowest price guarantee, even cancellation protection or job loss protection. That's pretty good right there at Gametime. So, forget planning months in advance. Gametime has the deals for the tickets right up to the day of the event. I encourage you to download the Gametime app, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, encourage you to create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. College football season is here, and this season, Locked On is kicking up our coverage with the Locked On College Football Kickoff Live each Friday, where Locked On will go live from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern on every Locked On College YouTube channel. College Football Kickoff Live will cover college playoff implications, the conference rivalry games, and go in-depth only like Locked On can, including insight analysis from our stable Locked On College host, covering every single team every single day. Find Locked On College Football Kickoff Live every Friday from 11 to 1 p.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m. Eastern local time on any Locked On YouTube channel you don't want to miss out. That is Locked On College Football Live every Friday. I'm sure your boy is going to be making an appearance or two on that show. Boys and girls, we're here. Tennessee football kicking off the season tomorrow. Will it replicate the fun and magical season that last season entailed? Will it take a step back? If so, how much of a step back is that? Could it take a step forward? Endless possibilities. Opening day, baby. I know opening day is really phrased with baseball, but endless possibilities, and I'm super, super excited about it. We've gone over off-season predictions, win-loss, toss-up games, most important players, all that stuff. It's just time to go hit somebody. It's time to go play, and it's time to react and discuss what we see out there on the football field. So, again, I'm picking Tennessee to win big. I think my staff prediction over at VolQuest.com on Friday, or for today, is going to be 47-17. Big-time win for Tennessee. That's a 30-point dub. I mean, hey, like, I mean, can't ask for much more, right? That spread, 27.5, it's a big one. Total 57.5 over at FanDuel. I think Tennessee can obviously get past that total. I'd hit the over on that one. But I'm expecting Tennessee to really have no issues here in this football game. Now, having said that, these guys are on scholarship too. This is a Power 5 football team. This is not an Austin Peay. This is not an FCS program. Might have an FCS quarterback, or at least one that played an FCS level the last couple of years. It is an opportunity for Tennessee to get some good work against a pretty decent front seven. Having said all that, here are my Cainer keys to the game. Tennessee needs to stay clean. No procedural penalties, no pre-snap penalties, no holding penalties, not a whole lot of, you're going to hold, you're going to interfere, there's going to be pass interference, there's going to be penalties, okay? But limit those to less than 4 or 5, all right? And don't, like the little things that you see in scrimmages a lot. And these are a lot of things that I said, what I'm looking for in scrimmage number 1 or what I'm looking for in scrimmage number 2. Procedural stuff, you don't want to see that. And what am I looking for? You don't want to see that. That's kind of funny to say back to back. You guys know what I mean. But you want to get all that out of your system early on in fall camp. Josh Heupel, after scrimmage number 2 of fall camp, offense won that day, but he was upset because Tennessee didn't handle some situational stuff correctly and procedural stuff. You hope that all that happens, prior to the game. And so it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be far from a perfect picture for Tennessee. It's week 1. No team's going to be perfect. No team will ever be perfect. You're going to get better as the year goes on, but you don't want to have silly little mistakes. So stay clean if you're the University of Tennessee. No penalties, no egregious penalties like that. And, try not to turn the football over. That's always a key right there. Offensive line, what an opportunity. What an opportunity for this Tennessee offensive line. Again, Cooper May's not going to play in this game. You'll have Ollie Lane at center. You have Andre Carrick first up at left guard. Javonte Spraggins at right guard. John Campbell is your left tackle. And J.J. Crawford's going to be your right tackle. Now, you will see Gerald Mincey play at right tackle. You'll see a little Dane Davis maybe. You will see Jackson Lampley and maybe even Addison Nichols play a little bit of left guard. Could you see Dane Davis play center and Ollie Lane play left guard? I don't know. Maybe in a blowout, but, probably not in the normal rotation. But it's going to be a good opportunity. I mentioned that front seven, though Chico Bennett the second is out, still a lot of firepower in that front seven. It's going to be a good challenge for this offensive line that's gotten better as camp has gone along. I think its strength is more pass protection than run blocking. But it's going to be a good challenge. And I think it's an opportunity to kind of puff your chest out a little bit. The storyline, the talking points have been all about the offensive line, all offseason, all camp. If you go out there and keep Joe Milton clean and block for a 100-yard back or a 200-yard game rushing performance for Tennessee, that'd be a really good start for the offensive line. Defense, I think it's a great opportunity for the defense to shine in this one. Again, new personnel. A lot of the personnel returning that played last year was a part of a horrible unit. Defense, you are very veteran-led. What an opportunity to go out and create some noise to complement this offense. You took a step last year. You need to take a step again this year. You're in a really, really good position to do just that. And you have an opportunity against a non-SEC opponent, against an offense that's not very good, to go out there and, again, puff your chest a little bit. Let this front four get after the quarterback, get home a couple times, create some turnovers, score a touchdown on defense. Wouldn't that be great? Just like the offensive line, what an opportunity for the defense to really allow some storylines to be around you Saturday night, Sunday, on into the work week and Monday. When we come back and talk on Locked On Vols, wouldn't it be great if we let off the show talking about the defense on Monday instead of the offense? That would be great. So those are kind of my keys to the game. Defense, go get it. Offensive line, how big a boy are you? Let's see it. Stay clean, no procedural penalties, and allow Joe Milton to go to work. Quickly, a little bit on the injury report. Cooper Mays is not going to play in this football game. Elijah Simmons is not going to play in this football game. He's going to be out a minute. Kamal Hadden, we'll see. He got banged up at practice a couple of weeks ago. This is not recent. A couple of weeks ago. I think he could dress, but maybe not play. They want to get him healthy, obviously, for Florida. But you have Gabe Judulale, you have Brandon Turnage, you have Warren Burrell. I mean, you have these freshmen. You have options at cornerback, right? So maybe for Kamal Hadden, it's important for him just to get healthy. So he might be in street clothes. He could play some. If he plays, I don't think he plays a lot. I think he can play, but I think it's going to be important for Kamal Hadden to get healthy. So he might be in pads, but I don't expect him to play an awful lot. But what do I know? He'll go out there and play 80 plays. He is coming off injury, so we'll keep an eye on Kamal Hadden. There might be some others for Tennessee, but that's what I know of for right now. Virginia defensively, Tony Elliott kind of ran down it in a press conference earlier this week. Defensive back is very questionable. Some guys in the two deep are a couple weeks away, all that type of stuff. But the big one that you need to know about, and I've already mentioned, it's Chico Bennett Jr. or Chico Bennett II. 7 sacks this season ago. Really nice blend of big and athleticism, good speed. He is likely not going to play in this game. Tony Elliott, said everything short of he's out. He's very, very unlikely to play in this football game. So a good opportunity for Tennessee to miss out on that one. But I think that's the big one in terms of injuries for Virginia. Hey, when we come back, we will touch base on what Josh Heupel had to say in his final press conference of the week. That was yesterday as Tennessee gets set to play host in Nashville to Virginia. I can't wait for that. We'll break it all down on a Monday Locked On Vols when we come back. What did Josh Heupel have to say about this matchup? That and a whole lot more coming up next right here on Locked On Vols. So it's the last show before Tennessee game day. Now, think about it, guys. I mean, the regular season was over at the end of November last year. We had about a month to kind of speculate, a week, between the regular season and, of course, conference championship weekend. To see, what bowl game Tennessee might go to. We found out it was a New Year's Six bowl game, found out it was the Orange Bowl, found out it was against Clemson and all that. And we spent a couple of weeks kind of going through and previewing that game. And that game was, the 28th, 29th of December? And so, really, since the calendar flipped to 2023 up until right now, all we've done is talk and speculate and cover the transfer portal, cover recruiting, cover spring practice. Those are all very important things. I'm trying to minimize that. But, we've done, most important players, best players, schedule breakdowns, all that type of stuff. Covered fall camp to nauseam. And now we're at the last segments before Tennessee kicks off. And I'm about talked out. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing me, tired of watching me. I'm about talked out. I'm ready. I'm just so ready to see the team go out there and play. That way we have something new to talk about. We have takeaways. We have criticisms. We formulate that conversation after the game has obviously been played, and we get into our true game week coverage here on Locked On Vols with scoring plays, big takeaways, and all that, and stuff on a Monday show, and Tuesday we get into some stuff. Of course, mailbag. Wednesday we'll do Pro Football Focus. Have a little award Wednesday. Thursday we'll talk to Boogie. We'll have some crossovers and a preview on Friday, and that's when the show really hits the stride. So I'm excited. I know you are, and we got here in this final segment before game day, on the last show before game day. It's fun to look back and think of, you're in March and you're in April, and it's like, God, the season will never get here. And then you get to the summer months, and it's like, okay, it's getting closer, and you get to SEC Media Days, and that's such a tease because it's like, we're talking football, we're seeing coaches, we're seeing players, then, oh, wait, that's still a week and a half until camp begins. And then you get camp, and then you get to that point in camp where it's just like, let's go and play. And that's kind of what Josh Heupel was saying Thursday. This is his final media appearance before kickoff, and just saying, hey, we're ready to go out there and play. You get to that point in fall camp where you just sense it. It's time. This is what Josh Heupel said Thursday in his final media appearance prior to kickoff against Virginia.
Been a good week of preparation. Got to finish it the right way, but excited to go play in Nashville. So yeah, you get done with training camp. You start your preparation this past week. You can feel that it's time to go hit somebody else. You're looking at 20 practices during the course of training camp, 20 plus, and 15 in spring ball. So they're certainly ready to go play. All the work that we've put in since the end of January is for these opportunities here, and this is a special one. It's the opener to the season, really good opponent, plus it's unique that we're opening up in Nashville in front of a bunch of our own fans.
That was probably the best quote that Josh Heupel had from his Thursday press conference. And for those of you guys that follow Tennessee football religiously and watch Locked On Vols, thank you. Locked On Vols first listens, everydayers, thanks for making Locked On Vols your first listen. I jumbled that up a little bit, but you guys have heard me say it a million times. But for those of you guys that really, nose to the ground and follow this throughout the week, that Josh Heupel, anytime he gets in front of the media, he's not going to say a whole lot, but the Thursday press conferences in season truly are a waste of time. I mean, you got to have them because guys like me have to ask questions as the season goes along just to get a record, just to get an answer on record that you can write about, whether it's bogus or whether he doesn't say anything or whatever. You just got to have it on the record, to put it out there on your website, to answer questions. It's your responsibility as a journalist and stuff. So I understand why you have them, but the Thursday press conferences are just the biggest waste of time. I mean, he says nothing. And Josh Heupel's a good dude. He really is. I mean, he's genuine. He's real. He's not, he's not rude or anything, but those Thursday press conferences are like pulling teeth. And literally what you just heard and what you just saw here on YouTube, that was the best thing he said all Thursday. I mean, it was about a 5-minute press conference. Seriously. Go behind the curtain a little bit. The parking situation at UT right now is so bad with constructions. I pray that all that stuff is done before the season opener. But, with school back in session, when you go over there to cover that stuff and practice and media availabilities and press conferences, it's tough to find parking. So, for a 5-minute press conference, I didn't even go over there today. I had 2 members of, VolQuest team, Brent and Austin. They were over there doing that. And I just stayed here and covered it from the house because it was just 5 minutes, Oh, it was funny. But anyway, that's Josh Heupel on, it's time to go. It's freaking time to go. Some news that came out of, not really newsworthy, but at least he got it on the record. This is a great example. You've got to ask about Cooper Mays. You've got to ask about another injury situation in Elijah Simmons. I've said repeatedly on both, I've given updates on both those 2 players throughout the course of the last couple of weeks. Ask about both those players. First Cooper Mays, then Elijah Simmons. This is what Heupel had to say on those 2 individuals, and then I'll react to that.
Yeah, you guys know that have been here. We kind of make those decisions on Friday. We still got 1 practice left in us, so we'll make all the decisions tomorrow. Yeah, we'll know more. But a guy that has been great all training camp and really all off season. He'll be out for this one, but we'll see where that goes moving forward.
So he was talking about Elijah Simmons there at the end, how he's going to be out for this one. And he's been great throughout training camp. And he really was. He had a great offseason. that whole storyline early in fall camp, the number change, are you 51 or are you 10? You got to be about it if you're going to wear a number 10 as a defensive lineman and at 340 pounds. He had a really great offseason. He did. He was having a good camp, and it sucks that he got hurt. Josh Heupel said he'll be out for this one. Then we'll see. Elijah Simmons, I feel like he's going to be out a couple of weeks. We'll see. It's not everything that I've been told. It's not season ending or anything, but I think it'll be a couple of weeks. So that's an update on Elijah Simmons. And then you look at Cooper Mays, and the first part of his quote there, he said, "You guys know how we do this. We make those decisions on Friday and everything." Well, Cooper Mays is not playing in the season opener. Okay, he has not practiced in like 3 weeks. Had that minor procedure. I think he's, week to week, and then hopefully he'll get day to day here pretty soon. And can he play against Austin Peay? Can he play against Florida? We'll see. I don't see him being out much farther than that, but Cooper Mays hadn't practiced in 3 weeks. And so it's going to be Ollie Lane playing center, and then it's going to be that rotation that we always talk about at left guard, and then the rest of the offensive line. But that was Josh Heupel on the record when asked about injuries on Thursday. Again, that was a perfect example of questions we have to ask, but him not really saying anything, And then finally, he was asked about situational football, and that's something that he was kind of perturbed about after scrimmage number 2, the scrimmage where offense won the day. I remember a couple weeks ago after scrimmage number 2, he was saying there were some things in situational football we got to clean up, all this type of stuff. Have you cleaned up those things in situational football offensively? Here's Josh Heupel when answering this question.
Yeah, during the course of scrimmages, a ton of situational football that you get into, in particular the second one. We still work on a lot of those situations, feel like we've cleaned some of those things up. I wasn't concerned about where we were at based on that second scrimmage. There's always things that you're looking to clean up. Feel really good about where we're at right now.
So Josh Heupel, again, he's ready to go, and that's the point of training camp. You work through those issues. I was talking about procedural penalties, pre-snap penalties. Like, you work through that type of stuff in training camp. It's just part of the process. I mean, every team is never – you're not going to be perfect your first day out. You're not going to be perfect your last day out, but it's about steadily improving every day in between. You know what I'm saying? So, again, that's Josh Heupel, his Thursday lengthy, informative press conference. Again, I'm not hating on Josh Heupel. It's his prerogative. He's the head football coach. It's just kind of, as a media member, it's just kind of funny how much of a waste of time those Thursday press conferences are. But anyway, hey, when you get to that Thursday press conference in season, it is go time. As a media member, as a guy that covers the team, I try to get all my work done, by Friday. I try to treat Friday as it's never a true off day, but I try to treat Friday as an off day. And there'll be a couple things I got to finish up tomorrow before heading to Nashville. But for the most part, all the hay in the barn, you're getting ready to roll. You treat Friday as a little bit of an off day. Then it's go time. The game's on Saturday, and then it's work Sunday through Thursday. And I am so excited for Tennessee football. I know you're so excited for Tennessee football. Noon Eastern time, 11 a.m. local time. It's going to be on ABC. And Tennessee is a heavy favorite in this one, 27.5 according to FanDuel. America's #1 sports book. So let's get it. All right. A lot of you guys are going to be at the game. I had somebody DM me and say, hey, tailgate before the game in Nashville. Heck no. That game is maybe if it was an afternoon game. Absolutely. That game is at 11 a.m. local time, which means I need to be getting in the press box at like a little after 9, which means I need to be taping the 2-minute drill at like 8:30, which means I need to be getting up and leaving the hotel. I think I'm staying a little bit out of town, so like 7:30. Nah, no chance. Workday, baby. But I can't wait to see what this Tennessee team looks like. We will cover everything Tennessee, Virginia from every single angle, every single stat. We'll hear scoring plays for the courtesy of the Vol Radio Network, all that and more. That's coming up on a Monday show. Tennessee and Virginia. What is your score prediction for Tennessee and Virginia? Let me see it in the YouTube comment sections. Tweet me, #AskCainer or #LockedOnVols. #everydayer, whatever you want to hashtag it. Let me know your score prediction for Tennessee and Virginia. Congratulations, guys. The season is here, and nobody covers Tennessee football every single day like we do it right here on Locked On Vols. Stay safe, enjoy the weekend, and let's talk about a Tennessee victory come Monday, yeah?